Hello, this is Vivica Williams, and you're watching Head to Head. Just a few months ago, the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine presented its draft sustainable logistics strategy. So what does this strategy entail, and what exactly must be done to fulfill it? To talk more about this, we welcome to the studio today Viktor Dovgan, Deputy Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine for European Integration. Hello, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Vivica.
So first off, could you tell us a bit about this strategy and what the main goals are?
First of all, this logistics plan was prepared together with the experts of the World Bank, and this is like continuation of our work on adoption of the national transport strategy till 2030. Why logistics is important? Because it's important for the trade, for foreign trade, for export, import, and transit. And we need to eliminate these bottlenecks which have our companies, cargo owners, in the ports, in the railway, in the road, to have a concrete action plan how we develop the logistics.
And so what are some of the most difficult aspects in here that are going to be the hardest for Ukraine to implement?
We identified the bottlenecks. For instance, the main issue, one of the main issues is the inland waterways. During the Soviet Union, we transported a lot, at the river Dnipro, we transported 67 million tons of the cargo annually. Right now, last year we transported 6.7 million tons, which means we decreased dramatically. And it means this is our weak point, this is bottleneck. We need to move, for instance, the cargo from the railway, from the roads, from the trucks to the Dnipro River, and to increase this volume of transportation. That is why we need to do the dredging, we need to invest in the port infrastructure, we need to repair the locks along the river.
And what are the benefits for this? Why did Ukraine stop using the river for for transportation of goods?
It's a good question. Frankly, we have lost our fleet. We have not repaired the locks, and it presents right now. We started only last year. We received the funds from the European Union for the capital repair of the first locks in the Dnipro River. That the point that nobody cared about this for the 25 years.
So it wasn't seen as economically viable, or the other options using land transport were more useful, or do you have an idea of what the reasons were behind cutting down on this water transport?
The point is that the state does not invest in the infrastructure. As soon as for instance, the railway was quite good for the transportation. Right now we have what? We have the deficit of the grain hoppers. We have the deficit of the locomotives. Hopefully we will resolve it with the General Electric contract on the diesel locomotives. In the road transport we have the bad roads. Absolutely. And as well the deficit of the fleet. That is why logically we need to move some of the cargo to the river.
So we've seen for the 25 plus years of Ukrainian independence, there's this not maintaining, not renewing, not following up with infrastructure, which is one of the most important things.
Absolutely.
However, we see that also in the United States as well. This is something that's neglected with bridges. So how much money is being allocated towards improving the infrastructure in Ukraine?
Basically, we talked both documents, the National Transport Strategy and the Logistics Plan. We have planned for the 30 up to 50 billion euros to be invested in the infrastructure. This means to repair all the roads, to have the capital investment in the Ukrainian railway, to change all the locomotives. This means dredging. We need only just for the river Dnipro, we need 50 million euros for the dredging, for the capex in the ports. So we need new bridges, we need new roads, we need new airports.
Right. And so it's not just about money. What is the country doing to ensure that there are fair and competitive practices to cut down on corruption in the logistics field?
It's not about the money, but the money is very is very important. Yes,
I mean, you can have billions of euros, but if it's not being allocated properly, if there's not fair, competitive processes, we see that this is logistics is a field that is very open to corruption.
No, I think we have very good results right now because for the road construction, for instance, we have two types of tenders. We have the budget tenders, which are done in the system of Prozoro, and it's efficient, it's transparent, and more companies coming and participating in the tenders. We have international banks tenders, European Investment Bank, EBRD, World Bank doing the tenders according to the international procedure, which are as well absolutely fair and transparent. So I think we implement the system for the whole tender and works in Ukraine. So I think in respect of the corruption, we are on a good track right now, fighting the corruption. I mean.
So they've started, which is a good thing, is putting into place first these strategies and these type of things, bidding systems to help prevent corruption down the road.
And the strategy itself contains the priorities. We need to identify the priority projects, which are first of all to eliminate bottlenecks and to facilitate the passenger cargo transportation.
And there has been a coordination committee created. So who is on this committee? What role will it play?
The Logistic Coordination Committee we need because not everything can be done by the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have the issues of the fiscal service, customs issue, we have the issues with the border service, checkpoints on the border, we have the tariffs, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economy. So this is a very good idea to have the Logistics Committee uniting representatives of the relevant ministries and committees and deciding on very concrete issues to be solved for the business, for the cargo owners.
And so has this committee been formed or it's in the process?
Yeah, it's formed.
And who sits on this committee?
The head of the committee is Vice Prime Minister on Infrastructure, Volodymyr Kistion. The deputy head of the committee is the Minister of Infrastructure, Volodymyr Omelian, and we have the representatives of the Fiscal Service, Border Service, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Economy.
Okay. And so what have you seen so far in progress that the committee's been making?
No, the very first two issues committee considered the logistics plan itself, and I think it's a good draft prepared together with the World Bank experts, and it will be adopted by the government. The second issue is the port tariffs, the new methodology for the port tariffs, because right now in Ukrainian ports we have the highest port tariffs in the basin of the Black Sea. So it as well hampers the transit, the export, the import.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And one last question. So we have the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine appeal to the representatives of ministries and departments to submit their proposals to the draft logistics strategy by June 1st. So what's the status on this at this time?
It's not only the, we would like to receive feedback from all the relevant ministries involved in the work of the Logistics Committee, because we presented the draft. And then we will incorporate all the comments, and then we put it for the approval of the government.
And so what is the timeline? What are you looking for to happen in this coming year?
No, as we see, for instance, with our experience with the national transport strategy, the draft was presented last year, and it took us almost a year to adopt it. We discussed it during the regional workshops in the regions.
Sounds excellent.
Yeah, so we identified the priority projects which are necessary for Mariupol and in the east, and for Uzhgorod in the west. So I think maybe logistics strategy will require half a year at least to be adopted in full, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and giving us this insight into what's going on with logistics strategy and transportation.
Thank you.
Okay. And that was Viktor Dovgan, Deputy Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine for European integration. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.